Welcome to the heart of New York City, where an important piece of rock and roll history was made on October 26, 1974. Today, we're diving into the legendary photo session that captured the essence of one of the most iconic rock bands of all time, Kiss. The one image that we all recognize from that day is the glorious photo that adorns the Dressed to Kill cover artwork, depicting the band in their traditional face makeup, but wearing formal business attire instead of their normal outlandish costumes. But that iconic photo was actually never intended for the Dressed to Kill album cover. It pretty much happened as a fluke, born out of an entirely different idea. The original concept for the photo shoot was to make a comic strip for Creem magazine, depicting Kiss going to work one day on the subway and then finding out that John Denver's playing a concert. So they put up posters and eventually kidnapped John, play the concert instead of him, and save the world in the process. It was to conclude with Kiss receiving medals for their bravery, followed by an all-out rock and roll orgy. As Creem's reporter Jaan Uhleszki recalled in the book Nothing to Lose, The Making of Kiss, 1972 to 1975, she approached Gene Simmons after a Kiss concert at the Michigan Palace with the concept, and he was in favor of it. Jaan Uhleszki is best known in Kiss world for being the first and only woman to ever share the stage with them. For the legendary Creem magazine article, I dreamed I was on stage with Kiss in my Maidenform bra. Photographer Bob Gruen, who was one of the resident photographers at Creem at the time, fills in the details, recalling it was to be made out like a comic strip, but told in photos rather than drawings. In the story, Kiss starts off as mild-mannered reporters in their secret identity wearing suits and ties, Gruen explained. They're in the subway station reading the newspaper, getting ready to go to work. And they read that there's going to be a concert by John Cleveland, which was a thinly disguised take on John Denver. Kiss was outraged that mediocrity was so widespread, and they decide that they had to save the world with rock and roll. They went into a phone booth, pulled off their clothes, and emerged as Kiss. This whole scenario was clearly inspired by the classic Clark Kent turning into Superman storyline. "We like the idea," Gene Simmons said in the book Kiss and Makeup, "but there was only one problem. None of us had normal business clothes. So we borrowed suits from people, and they weren't exactly perfect fits. If you look at the cover photo closely, you can see that my pant legs and jacket are a little too short and a little too tight." Gruen claims that he contributed some of the suits and some of the ties, including the yellow one worn by Simmons. His wife lent Simmons her clogs. "Ace is also wearing my suit and my shoes. Had I known how much they'd be worth, I would never have given those shoes away to Goodwill 40 years ago. I remember the white shoes. They had a stain on them, and I wasn't going to wear them, so I gave them away," he claims. But their manager, Bill Aucoin, has also claimed that 3 of the suits came from him. So the exact details on this part of the story are a little sketchy. Either way, the photographer took the band down to the southwest corner of 8th Avenue and 23rd Street in the Chelsea neighborhood of Manhattan, close to Electric Lady Studios, where they were just finishing up recording their 3rd album. On that crisp autumn day, amidst the chaotic energy of West 23rd Street and 8th Avenue, Kiss embarked on a mission for this somewhat different photo shoot to what they were used to. Bob Gruen recalls the session. "We were working on a photo novella for Queen magazine. The story was about Kiss in their secret identities going to work in the morning. You can see that they're wearing suits, so no one would recognize that they were Kiss. Nobody knew who they were. It was still early days, and Kiss wasn't well known at all, even in New York. You have to be more than weird to get attention here. People kind of glanced at them. They may have thought it was a little early for Halloween. It takes a lot to shock a New Yorker." We were in the subway. We took one picture where they're going into the phone booth, pulling off their coats and ties. And then we actually went to a different subway because I didn't want the picture to go backwards in the page. I wanted them to run into a phone booth and then run out in the same direction. so that they weren't running back towards themselves. According to Gruen, the first phone booth photo was snapped in the 23rd Street station, and the second one was in the 14th Street station. When the scripted shoot for Creem magazine was completed, almost by accident, the now famous photo was taken. As we came out of the subway, I said, "Why don't you stand over by the lamppost? Let's take a couple of pictures." We had no thought that it was going to be an album cover. It was really just part of this comic book. The third album that Kiss were recording at Electric Lady Studios just around the corner was originally intended to be titled Kiss at Midnight. To this date, no concrete details on why that title was discarded, or even what the album cover concept was going to be like, has been properly documented. But it has been well documented that their record label, Casablanca Records, were seriously short on funds at the time. So it might simply have been a cost-cutting exercise that saw Kiss at Midnight turn into Dress to Kill. And the band really liked that image taken at West 23rd Street and 8th Avenue, so it seemed to be a no-brainer to simply use that as the cover artwork, and thus rock and roll history was made. So, the next time you find yourself wandering the streets of New York City, take a moment to remember the magic of October 26, 1974, when Kiss brought rock and roll to the heart of the Big Apple and changed the course of music history forever. Thank you for sticking around to the end of the video. Here's a nice little-known bonus fact. Kiss liked the look of the Dress to Kill cover image so much that on 24th of February of 1975, they did a second Bob Gruen photo session wearing suits. For this second session, Gene and Paul wore the exact same suit and tie as for the October 26, 1974 session. Ace wore the same suit, but a different tie. Peter wore a completely different suit and tie. They all wore different shoes. Where does the Dress to Kill album cover rank in the Kiss discography for you? Is it one of their best, or perhaps one of their worst? Let us know what you think in the comments. Thank you again. See you in our next Kiss video.